Good morning, Washington, and all the ships at sea. How are you doing? I'm fine. I'm very good. We're back in the den office here today, here at DCRTV.com on the. It's the 7th of October, 2014. Okay, yeah. What's the fashion statement today? We're the long pants today. Here we go. The long pants. Okay, these are 32 waist, but I have a belt. Really cool pants. I like these. Got them tucked into the Kmart Texas. What are these called? Texas Steer boots. These are only like $40 over at Kmart. Really like them. They feel like you're wearing sneakers. They're very comfortable. Good for hiking. Really cheap. The problem is they're hard to find in my size. I have size 13 feet. Big, they say, big feet, big, you know what? Long tongue. But I do not have, I'm only like 5'6", you know. So I'm kind of, whatever. What am I blithering about? Blithering. So how y'all doing, everybody? So yesterday, quite a ruckus here at the DCRTV World Headquarters. There's a giant pine tree outside my front place there, and they chopped it down. They cut it down yesterday. Look, I don't know if you can see that with the glare there, but you can see that sky there, all that sky. See at the top of the trees up to the sky. Didn't used to be able to see that. So now my little antenna for my TV, I got even better reception. That tree's gone because that's looking east toward Washington. You can see the Washington Monument way there over there. Well, I can't, but anyhow. That tree was a nice tree. It was a nice tree. It gave me a lot of shade and all that. But every time we had a big storm here, like snowstorm or an ice storm, it would drop these big hunking branches. You know, it's a tall tree, and it would drop these big branches. And anytime we got they've got a hurricane or a tropical storm or a snowstorm of any consequence, like heavy wet snow, or we had an ice storm. Any of those things, it would drop these big branches, and they'd come hitting the roof and bang. And I have some skylights over there, and it almost hit a couple of those. Luckily, it never did. But there was that one snowstorm, Snowmageddon, back in 2010. The whole tree came down on the building. You know, it was like literally all hanging on the building, and then the snow was on top of that. And I'm waiting for the whole thing just to snap off and come plunging through. So anyhow, I let the condo association know last winter, you know, back in December of last year that, you know, maybe they needed to trim it or something, but. So then finally, yesterday, like 10 months later, they came and cut it down. I don't know. Go figure. One of my neighbors was all upset and was out there saying, "Don't do it. It's a beautiful old tree." I should have had my video camera going. It would have been a great YouTube video. But anyhow, good old. Here's a weird thing about. First off, the Washington Post. Okay, gay marriage in Virginia. Dave, what do you think about gay marriage? Fine. Two consenting adults want to get married. I don't give a rat's ass what sex they are. Anyhow, nice ad on the back of the paper here. Comcast is committed to an open internet. Here's what we say. I don't know, man. I am so down on this company. I have been a Comcast subscriber since they bought the Reston cable system back in the 1990s. So it's been like 15 years, and I come away with a very, very bad taste in my mouth. I do not have a good feeling about Comcast. I mean, I'm a longtime Comcast subscriber, and I do not like the company. It has become a really rotten, nasty, mean company that's just out to get you. You know, they have these promo rates, and then they get you. And then they do this marketing campaign, and they're not a consumer-friendly company. They do not put their packages in consumer-friendly, you know, the whole company is geared to profits and schmoozing the FCC and getting more powerful and bigger, and the hell with the customers. And being a Comcast customer for all these years, that's the way I feel. I mean, I don't have this wonderful feeling about, gee, what a great company. I get it, you know, it's just like, yuck. And when I cut my cable TV service off last month, it was like liberating, like, damn it, that's $100 I'm not sending to those bastards. I don't know, man. I just really feel like the FCC would be doing a public disservice to let this company get even bigger. Now, I can't say that Time Warner's any better. They're probably just as bad as Comcast. You know, that's the problem you have today in the media business, is you get all these companies competing with each other, and they're all offering the same exact rates, and they're all just as equally awful. And you have 3 or 4 of them, and you choose from bad guy to even worse guy to even worse guy. That's what the American media thing is like. And it's just like, oh my God. But anyhow, so there's a big ad there in the Washington Post. I'm sure, you know, who knows what Comcast is doing. They're probably paying off who knows who. Well, you know, if you vote for this Time Warner buyout thing, we'll give you a job when you leave the upstairs floor. So, you know, all right, anyway. In the post-sports section here, still, you know, the Nationals won last night. Hooray! In San Francisco. Still, they got to win 2 more. I doubt if they will, but, you know, maybe they will. Anyhow, the Nationals win in San Francisco, so they've saved themselves from ending their season. And look at where the Redskins lose last night, and look, there they are, way down there. When's the last time you saw the Redskins after a game, next day edition after the game, way down at the bottom of the page? That's, what are they now, 1-4? I can't remember that. You know, usually they're plastered all over the front page of the sports section, but not yesterday. You know, and of course we know the Nationals are a big advertiser in the paper, and the Redskins aren't. Interesting though, there were 2 interesting articles that came out about the Washington Post. Back at the beginning of the month, Dylan Byers over there, who's the media dude over at Politico, writes a big piece about how Jeff Bezos has been owning, he's the Amazon.com dude, he's been owning the Washington Post for a year now, and media analysts remain puzzled about his decision to buy the paper. There have been no major digital innovations, no radical new product launches, no new change to delivery or presentation, and no promise of any specific plans for the future. I'm quoting Dylan here. Meanwhile, the Post, far from embarking on the radical reinvention that many thought Bezos would bring, remains more old school than cutting edge. Its executive editor, Marty Barron, is an epitome of the 20th century newspaper man. Yeah, its new publisher, former Politico CEO Fred Ryan, is a fixture of the old Washington scene. So it's basically a negative piece, like, you know, here's this guy, the paper's kind of dull, he hasn't made any big improvements, it's, you know, blah, 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 kind of floundering thing. And then you see what comes out yesterday in the New York Times. David Carr, who's the big media reporter dude, columnist dude over there at the New York Times, he used to work for the Washington City paper way back when, you know, he's just flowing with praise about how the Washington Post has improved under Bezos. He writes, nothing in God's creation is ever as good as it once was, but the Washington Post is coming pretty damn close. The once embattled newspaper is in the middle of a great run, turning out the kind of reporting that journalists and readers live for. That includes coverage that played a role in the resignation of the director of the Secret Service, an investigation work that eventually led to the conviction of a former governor of Virginia on corruption charges. The Post brought down by the gavel. Okay. Anyway, it's just interesting to see these 2 divergent views. You know, David Carr, I mean, he kind of goes overloaded schlamooze here. According to ComScore, the Post had 39,452,000 unique visitors in July, an increase of 63%. Well, that's taking it straight from the Post PR department, you know. Rewrite the press release. I mean, I expect a little better of that from the New York Times. But, you know, and then it's like, you know, really praising dear old Marty over there, like he's really doing things, you know. I don't know. Yeah, I guess, you know, if you want the truth, I'm making quote marks with my fingers. If you want the truth, it's somewhere in between those 2 pieces. You know, read the David Carr one, read the Dylan Byers one, and then kind of put something in the middle. I think my view is, I still think the Post is a very good newspaper, okay? I still think that. I don't think it's as good as the New York Times, and I don't think it's as good as the Wall Street Journal. I think both of those papers are better papers. They look better, they read better, they're better designed. The reporting, I think, is generally better. But the Post, I think, ranks 3rd in the country. And that's, hey, nothing to sneeze at. I think it's a better paper now than the USA Today. I used to think USA Today was maybe up there with the Post. USA Today and Gannett have shot that down the slide. It's no longer. It looks like a slap thing. It looks like it's been slapped together from their website. It's just bad. So I do think the Post, I think, in many respects, I think the news section is still very good. I like the editorial section, although I think their editorial on the Redskins name is kind of half-assed. I think the Metro section is still very good. People like Tom Jackman. The sports section, I mean, some of their columnists are getting kind of long in the tooth and boring. And Dan Steinberg, he's a great guy. He's cute. He's wonderful. He's charming. He talks like that. But, he's kind of written out. I don't know. And then, of course, there's the horrible, it remains horrible style section. Just, it's awful. They need to get rid of everybody and start over with that. But it's still, that thing is terrible. They kiss ass to the Kevin Spacey. They should just call it the Kevin Spacey section because that's all they write about. I don't know. They need to start over with that. Other than Hank Stuver, that thing's pretty bad. And some Emily Arthur. Some of her stuff's not bad, but most of it is just like, oh God, Robin Givens, oh God, So anyhow, interesting. The other day, chatting about what's going on with Sinclair 7 over there. Somebody told me that the new owners of Channel 7, Sinclair, Baltimore-based, have an employee handbook that actually tells you, has a little chart in it that tells you how many days off you can take for different relatives that die. If an aunt dies, you get so much time off. If an uncle dies, if a cousin dies, I don't know. Is that a little too much? Somebody actually sat there and thought that one out. I don't know, man. Okay, I got this in the mail yesterday. I thought I was getting a donation check. Usually when I get a little letter in the mail with someone handwriting the address on there, I think, oh, someone sent me a check for $17. No, I get this. So it's kind of interesting. Let's see. Okay, I got to get this camera. Let's see if I can get the camera zoomed in on this so you can see what the person sent me. Here we go. Let's turn that over there. Okay, this came from, okay, there we go. This came from Melvin up there in Dunkirk, Maryland. And this is cool. He sends me this little thing from the 1963 Broadcasting Yearbook telling me Wi-Fi FM. You remember there's a radio station in Philadelphia called Wi-Fi, well, for many years on 92.5. And, okay, Philadelphia's QXR network station. So I guess they were a classical station back then. But Wi-Fi, it's hi-fi on Wi-Fi. So I guess in a way that's where the Wi-Fi term actually came from, the Philadelphia FM station. Now back in the 90s, or late 80s, WYFI Philadelphia was a top 40 station for a while. Then it became a kind of a rock of the 80s station with some cool music. And then it became WXTU, which was kind of like a disco station modeled after WKTU in New York, and then became a country station. And that's the country station that CBS just bought. CBS swapped a bunch of stations. And this was last week's news. And they've taken over 2 FMers in Philly, WXTU Country, and the Wired station, Wired 96.5. And that's rumored to be going to be flipped over to KYW FM. So going to be looks like they might be putting KYW, their old newsroom in Philly, on that signal. Maybe not, who knows. But anyhow, kind of interesting to see the shuffle there. What's interesting, though, is that one of the CBS stations in Florida, the trading with Beasley for all these stations is, that states WHFS. 98.7 in Tampa is a sports talker. That's the one that Kirk McEwen works at. Anyway, that's WHFS. So the call letters, HFS, are leaving CBS and going to Beasley. So I guess they'll never, ever be back in Washington. So there you go. As if we thought they would be. All right, folks. Thanks for watching Dave TV. Don't forget, we're still celebrating. Even though it's the end of September's over, you can still get DCRU Plus for $17 per year this week only. So, make a donation. I'll still honor the $17 rate for another week. So there you go. Or make a donation even more. Make it $1,700. Whatever. All right, folks. Thanks for watching Dave TV for the 7th of October, 2014. Book 'em, Dano.